favor to ask before this episode begins. This is a simple, free, easy thing you can do. I would be hugely grateful if you could take 5 seconds and hit the like, follow, or subscribe button on the app wherever you're listening to this podcast. Thank you so much. AI is coming after your job and mine. Podcasters, you're out of a job. Executive assistants, gone. Engineers, sayonara. Plumbers, you've flushed your last toilet. And authors, you've written your last chapter. The end. There's a version of this story where a big chunk of the population is scared, and I get it, especially younger generations wondering, am I going to have a job when I finish college? Do I even need to go to college? There's another version where people are quietly building AI businesses, AI employees, sometimes they're loudly building them, AI agents as fast as they can, and then offloading as much as they can to the machines. And then there's a third version where people are avoiding AI altogether in the hopes that it goes away. So today, I want to talk about what the science and history actually say about AI taking your job. Welcome to Capacity Conversations in this special episode of Debunked. This is the segment where I take the productivity gospel, run it through the capacity Bible, and then tell you what actually holds up. I'm Dr. Lizette Warner, and I am so glad that you're here. I want to start off with, if AI is taking our jobs, why is this so appealing to us? This fear almost seduces us. It's what everyone is talking about. And I want to take that initially and talk about fear sells. We as humans, we're designed to sniff it out. We've been designed like that from the beginning, from the get-go, that we are so good at that. As humans, we are far better at finding risk than we are at overcoming it. Because risk is easy to find. We could see it wherever it is, but overcoming it takes courage. And courage is expensive. And mind you, courage is something AI does not have. When I was in high school, we were told, we're going to run out of gasoline in less than 10 years. You're going to go to the pump and there's going to be nothing there, my friend. That's what we were told. 50 years later, we're still digging for oil. Now, will we run out eventually? Yes. Why? Because it's not a renewable resource. But here's the thing. Running out of gasoline? Yes. But it's not going to happen today. And it's not going to happen on the timeline where we were initially sold. Because here's what I know about humans. We are astonishingly adaptable. Doubt me? Look at anywhere on the planet where we live. We are astonishingly adaptable. Here's something else that I know. Every expansion that's occurred throughout history is followed by an integration. Now, what is this integration? It's a normalization period where the new thing gets absorbed into the ordinary. In capacity work, I call this expansion and integration. And it's exactly the phase that we're in with AI right now. And here's the thing, a lot of people call it the bubble, right? The .com bubble, the AI bubble, and the bubble's going to burst. But in actuality, it is simply expansion and integration. And expansion is loud. Integration is quiet. And we mistake the noise of expansion for the shape of the future. So let's take on in Debunked that AI is going to take all of our jobs. Now, in every claim, right, AI is going to take our jobs, there are these subclaims, and the first one says this: AI is going to replace all human labor, because if it's going to take all of our jobs, then it's going to replace all human labor. So here's what I know about technology. Every technology needs a substrate. AI runs on silicon, copper, gold, titanium, rare earth minerals, all finite resources. It requires massive energy and it requires cooling, a massive amount of cooling, so much so that we're building data centers and we're talking about putting data centers out in space so that the cooling problem can take care of itself. But we're already building data centers the size of small cities. And there are serious conversations, right, that I already said about putting these data centers in space. The idea that AI expands infinitely and replaces all human labor assumes a resource picture that doesn't exist. The physical world is going to slow this down whether we want it to or not. So let's look at this subclaim that AI replaces all human labor. Is that true? Is that debunked? AI is going to replace some labor. It's not going to replace all labor. The math simply doesn't math here. So I think this one is misapplied. All right, the next subclaim, if AI is taking all of our jobs, then the next one says AI can do everything a human can do. Okay, so let's take on this claim. So some tasks, sure, increasingly sophisticated ones too. But AI cannot regulate you. It cannot manage your emotions and your stress. Can't. It can't co-regulate with a team in crisis and pull them out of that crisis. It cannot galvanize support. It cannot feel, it cannot love, it cannot sacrifice. It has nothing to sacrifice. And here's the piece that almost no one is talking about. The human capacities that matter most in life, in leadership, in love, the ability to hold a room, to read a nervous system, to make a hard decision with incomplete information and stand behind it with courage, to sit with someone in grief without fixing them. Those aren't capacities that AI is coming for. Why? Because it cannot. It can't. Those are actually capacities that AI is going to make more valuable because they're the exact ones that AI cannot replicate. So what's the verdict here on this subclaim that AI can do everything that a human can do? AI cannot do everything a human can do. This is debunked. It can do specific things and specific slices of what a human can do, but it can't do the slice that makes you human. All right. If AI is taking all of our jobs, then the next subclaim here is that the jobs that AI takes, they're gone forever. Okay, let's take this one on. Every major technology shift has eliminated categories of work and created categories that nobody could have predicted. Let's go back to ATMs. So back in the day when ATMs were announced, there was this huge fear. They were supposed to end bank tellers. We're no longer going to have bank tellers because now we have ATMs. We can go and pull out cash from our accounts anytime we want. And yet, there are more bank tellers now than before ATMs existed. And those bank tellers are doing drastically different work than they did before. The internet was supposed to end retail. You can get it online. You can pull it from wherever. And instead, it created entire new categories of work. It created entire new categories of product that simply didn't exist 20 years ago. And it also created huge amounts of opportunity that did not exist 20 years ago. Here's the thing I want you to remember. History is remarkably consistent on this. Technology, it doesn't reduce the amount of human work. What it does is it reshapes what human work is. So the specific job that you're doing today, it might not exist in 10 years. But the human doing it, you will almost certainly be doing something else, something that probably doesn't even have a name yet. So let's take this verdict now on this subclaim that the jobs AI takes are simply, they're gone forever. What's the verdict on this? Jobs aren't disappearing. Jobs are shape-shifting, and the people who thrive are the ones who don't cling to the old shape. Okay, so if AI has taken all of our jobs, there's also another hidden, sneaky subclaim hidden in there. And this one's probably my favorite. It says this: universal basic income will save us. Hallelujah. So this is the doom loop endpoint of the argument, of the AI argument. If AI takes all the jobs, then the story goes, well, governments are going to assign us a basic income so that we can survive and not revolt. So let's actually walk through the math on this one. Governments fund themselves through taxes. Companies generate the tax base through profit. Profit comes from people buying things. If nobody has a job, nobody has income. If nobody has income, nobody's buying. If nobody's buying, companies don't profit. Now, if companies don't profit, there's nothing to tax. The universal income has no source. This scenario collapses under its own weight. It only holds together if humans are still economically necessary, which is exactly where the original claim said we would be. Right? So the verdict here on universal basic income will save us. The math doesn't math. Here's where I've landed. After years of building AI into my own business and watching it and what it does with my clients, the claim that we started with, AI is going to take all of our jobs, it's really the wrong claim. AI has already started taking some jobs, and it's going to take more. And it's going to create categories of work of which we don't yet have names for, and what we haven't even imagined. That's what technology does. That's always been what technology does. So the real question isn't whether AI is going to take your job. The real question is this: how do we not lose our humanity as we bring AI alongside us on this journey? Because here's the thing I keep coming back to. We're right now, today, in the expansion phase. And expansion is loud, it's disorienting, and it's easy to mistake for permanence. But make no mistake, integration is coming. Integration is what determines whether we come through this with our humanity intact. And that depends on not how fast we adopt AI or how loudly we resist AI. It's whether we protect the capacities that are ours, the ones that AI can't replicate. And this is happening now, during the years where it's easy to forget that we have them. That's right. It is easy right now to forget that we have those capacities. So here's your one thing. Do something that AI can't do. Have the hard conversation you've been avoiding. Sit with someone in grief without trying to fix it. Make a decision without asking a machine to check your logic or to do it for you. Notice what it feels like to use the capacities that are yours, the ones that don't need a prompt, don't need a subscription, and don't ever run out of tokens. It's one thing this week. That's the practice. And full disclosure moment, I wrote this episode myself. Initially, I asked AI to write it for me, and then it produced something, and I'm like, yeah, that's something. And then I thought to myself, oh, actually, Lizette, you know what? You should write the shitty first draft. Then you give it to AI. So that's exactly what I did. But that impulse, that initial impulse of have AI do it for me, that pull to hand it off is going to be there every single time. Notice it, then do the thing yourself anyway. Write your own first draft. That is Capacity Conversations in this episode of Debunked for this week. Last week, I sat down with Makeda Bohm, and we talked about AI in business, in leadership, how it is a wealth-generating tool. Go back and listen to that one if you haven't. It's really the setup for everything that we just talked about today. And if you want to know where your own capacity lands and where you stand right now, take the capacity code assessment. It's at capacity.lizettewarner.com. It's free and it takes about a couple minutes, and it will tell you which of your 4 capacities is your growth edge and how to sharpen it. I'm Dr. Lizette Warner, and thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Capacity Conversations, the special edition of Debunked. I'll see you back here in 2 weeks.